time where we're going out of town, and I made enough money to get the ticket. And then he was like, "Oh, are you good? I got the hotel room." We got there. There was like 10 people in the hotel room. And at that moment, I was like, man, I got to start figuring out finances and making my own money because who wants to be in a situation like this? A lot of people ask me, like, where are your office located? I said, we don't do the office thing. Because if you're sitting behind a desk, that means you ain't working.
Ooh, he's y'all with some right there.
There's a lot of things in life that's easier than you think. The credit thing is easier than you think. The real estate thing is easier than you think. Finding money is easier than you think. Making money is easier than you think once you get out of a certain mindset.
I ain't acting, I'm just speaking what I see behind the lens. Even though I'm speaking roles, the creator I am.
Manifest, elevate, you won't be okay. I'ma focus on myself in a way. Give you love, give you eyes, show you the way. I plant the seeds and watch them blossom. Our soul is power, solar power. We don't fold, we don't know no cowards. We expose those who hide our power. Self-conquer, watch the rest devour.
Peace, love, prosperity, family. It's King and Ryan on the Move Different podcast. I am the host, and this is Move Different Monday. Today, on episode 5, I have Sean Crawford. Sean Crawford is the co-owner of Melanated Investments and Melanated University, where he serves as the chief financial officer of both companies. The Melanated companies invest in revitalization of people, property, and land throughout the community. Sean has dedicated 7 years to providing life skills and financial empowerment training to undeserved communities, as well as creating homeowners throughout the area. He brings over a decade of experience in overseeing and overseeing before and after school programs in the great Kansas City area. Ladies and gentlemen, this brother is a man like none other. I can't wait for you to receive some of the wisdom that he has to give you. And before I go any further, please allow me to introduce you to him himself, Mr. Sean Crawford. Sean, thank you very much.
Appreciate
Yes. Now, these lights on the set, and the energy drink got me sweating. So, when I heard the video story, it amazed me because a lot of young brothers are not that aware or motivated to look at financial literacy until they bump their head, mess up their credit. Where I'm from, we're in the hood, go through a lot of scams and try to get money. But there's always some mentor or book or song, like how Jay-Z has said, what's better than spending money in a strip club? Credit. You know what I'm saying? So what I want you to start off telling people a little bit more about what inspired you to actually get involved into the company that you are.
Gotcha. So what initially inspired me was I was in college. I was in my first year of college and got into multi-level marketing businesses. So things like Amway, Proud American, things of that sort, kind of started being recruited for that. Didn't really know what that was. And through that process, I found a mentor within the company who just kind of started talking to me just about finances in general. So kind of started stretching me about being a broke college student. Hey, you need to save your money, the little money you have in college. I wasn't working. My parents were sending me money, or I was coming back on the weekend, cutting grass, so I can go back to school and do what I need to do. But I just started kind of thinking about money different during that time. And he started telling, hey, I want to take you out of town, but I ain't got no money to go out of town. We're going to Chicago for the weekend with the rest of the guys. And I'm like, all right, I don't have the money to get to Chicago. I could put in a couple of dollars on gas. Mm-hmm. But then it was a time where we're going out of town, and I made enough money to get the ticket. And then he was like, oh, are you good? I got the hotel room. We got there, and there was like 10 people in the hotel room. Ooh. And at that moment, I was like, man, I got to start figuring out finances and making my own money, because who wants to be in a situation like this?
Yeah, exactly, man. I can resonate. It was a point with Amway specifically. First time I got introduced, I was looking for a second job, and the lady was like, let me ask you something, if you don't mind. Are you looking to make some extra money? or you really looking for a job? I said, really some extra money. So I have a business mentor of mine, if you don't mind, sit down and look for some more people that are very sharp-minded, you know, the spill. So I'm like light-minded, sharp-minded. All right, cool.
Right.
Sit down with this guy, pulled his laptop out. You know, I liked everything I seen. It was a trip to St. Louis at the time, and I'm in Kansas City, Kansas. And he had told me, like, let me ask you this. If you was to die today, God forbid, and your daughter needed a job at Walmart, because you just passed that down like a family heirloom or legacy. I was like, no. He was like, well, the opportunity I'm about to show you, you can create generational wealth. That time, never heard what generational wealth was. Went out there, didn't have the money, pitched in on gas, no hotel room. I think at that time, my mentor had somebody he knew down there, so I was able to sleep in one of the rooms, but on the floor.
Right.
Same incident happened again years later. Had an opportunity to speak with Les Brown. Went out to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Just paid for my flight ticket, no room. Stayed up all night till I found somebody. They offered me a room, had some stay. So I gotta shake your hand, Gretchen, on taking them steps. You know what I'm saying? Because it revealed the pain of being financially voided. That's what I'm saying. So when it comes to network marketing and it comes to your companies right now, how did any of that, if any of that knowledge, transition into what you do today?
Well, I think I always tell people that there are two type of people in business, and this is just what I believe. I mean, you don't have to agree with it, but I always say that there's the type of people that need a system like Amway that's going to coach them, hold your hand, show you exactly what to do, and kind of give you that discipline along the way. I mean, that's what I was a broke college student, never had a job, was broke, finances all over the place. I'm asking my parents for money every month. So they really taught me how to be disciplined in the money that I started to make, and then creating goals and long-term situations where I could sustain myself. So I learned all that within Amway. So that's the first set. You need that. And then I say the other people are already motivated. They're ready to go. They're not here for the rah-rah and all that. They're like, I got this vision. I know what I want to do, and I'm just going to do it. So that was the switch. I spent a few years doing that within Amway, and they taught me all this financial literacy, financial empowerment, rather, and some goal setting and discipline. And then once I had that, I said, okay, well, thank you, but this is not the system that I want to do that within, and this is not the people that I want to really do that with. So that's how Melanated Investments came along.
Awesome. Okay. I like that. And with that transition, Melanated Investments, you're the chief financial officer. So how many other people are that you partner with that company?
So there's two other partners that I have that run the company. We all have different roles. Like I said, chief financial officer, so I handle all of the finances as well as the real estate aspect of things. And then we have guys that handle more of the education, the marketing, and then guys that oversees the company in general. And then, of course, we have an assistant that kind of does all our calendar booking. A lot of people ask us, like, where are your office located? I said, we don't do the office thing. Because if you're sitting behind a desk, that means you ain't working.
Ooh, he's hit y'all with something right there. You're going to offend some people with that one. You ain't working. Okay. So where would you tell people that are inspired and think like that type of look, that setup is what business is? Where you, like, when they look, okay, you mean you don't work behind a desk, so where do you work? Like, what's your answer to that question? Where do you work?
My answer is I work in the streets. I work, face to face to finish the race is what I always was taught. So I'm always in front of somebody. I'm always networking. I'm always telling somebody what I do. So that way I'm creating opportunities daily. I'm not hiding behind a phone, none of that. So my work is in the field, creating.
I like it. Now, before we get into the 4 goals, we're on a Move Different podcast. We talk about how do you move different with your time, your money, your relationships, and your goals. So it's really all about transitioning and giving some wisdom and some guidance to the people out there to how to pivot through some of them tough times or them finding times. So I'm just trying to find out what's my purpose, what's my niche, what's that thing that's going to help me get to the next level. So a lot of my viewers, they are millennials, 18 to 35. A lot of them are, I forgot what generation it is, not Gen Z, but the ones that's between 60 and up, 50 and up. When it comes to books, when it comes to preparation, when it comes to like really knowing how to run your business, Mentors can be in person, it can be face to face. Mentors can be through podcasts. It's so many different sources. On the journey that you're on right now, what were some of the very beginning pivotal books or mentors that you came across?
So really, one of the first books that I read, believe it or not, was The Art of Dealing with People, which is more of it's a people book. It teaches you how to relate to people, teaches you how to deal with people. So I read The Art of Dealing with People probably once a year for about 3 years, just because I wanted to kind of revisit. All right, I'm in the business of meeting people, relating to people, selling people, if you will. Or selling an idea to people. So the art of dealing with people, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm sure everybody came across that book one way or another. And then sometimes you win and sometimes you learn by John C. Maxwell.
I ain't never heard that one. That sounds like a gem right there.
It is.
I'm definitely have to check that out. Okay, that. All right. So speaking of them books and talking about, since you're the money man, probably the money man. Before we get into the first topic, which will be money. Have you always had a passion for education to educate the people? And have you always had not education? Have you always had the inspiration to get involved in real estate?
Neither one of them. No. So as far as educating people, I never in a million years would have even thought I would be teaching or on nobody's podcast or giving out information on financial literacy. My goal, actually, I was in school for criminal justice. So totally different than real estate and finances. I mean, that's what I went to school for initially until that switch kind of happened. And I found out I was going to class and I was in class with people that wasn't in that field. So then I was like, maybe I just watched too much Cop growing up.
Too much Cop.
Right.
It was a show.
So I was like, well, I need to pivot and really find something different. And, that switch happened. I really, like I said, during that first year of college, when I found a mentor and it kind of exposed a lot of different things and financial empowerment and generational wealth. And I realized, okay, well, a 9 to 5 or being a police officer or whatever it may be, it's not going to do that. And I looked around, looked at my mom, looked at my dad, great jobs. My dad retired before the age of 60. He made bullets and all that stuff for 35 plus years. And I was like, no, I'm not trying to be at a place for 35 years doing the same thing. So really looked around my circle, looked around my family, and nobody had ever created a generational wealth or anything that they could pass down or anything they could necessarily teach. So that's when I kind of made the switch.
Okay. And then real estate, how did you get inspired to do that?
So real estate, I think it's funny because I was doing, got out of college, was doing commercial sales, and I was doing flood insurance. And a buddy of mine, Jay, hit me up and said, hey, we're starting this real estate company. We need you to come help us start it as well. And I was like, real estate? Man, why would you call me about something like that? And so he like, well, you've been in sales. I was like, that's a total different type of sales. I mean, I've talked to y'all about business in the past, and none of y'all were interested in business. So what's the change now? So it kind of got with me, and I was like, well, let's do this. I love the concept. I don't really know about real estate. I'm going to start studying up on that. Y'all go get everything legalized, and then come back to me. And literally within a week, came back to me here. I was like, well, I guess we're in business. So from there, I mean, I just learned as much as I can about real estate. I started doing podcasts, started reading books, and then the most important thing is I found a mentor who was already in the same field as me.
Powerful. I like that. Took the initiative, then leave them hanging. Most people still leave you hanging. Like, and then hold on to that past, no, I asked you before, you don't do it. They ain't gonna do business with me. No, you're your own, and y'all stuck up.
Right.
So would you say that was one of the greatest decisions you made?
Oh, most definitely.
Well, okay, so let's get into the first pillar, money. So before we dive deep into like what the transition was, open up a little bit more about getting into real estate. Since you had like never known about it, because you was good at sales. What was it like about how was it? How about, let me reword this. walk me and my viewers down on what it was like accumulating the first property.
Okay. So initially, I go back a little bit, we spent a year of our time reading all these books and listening to all these podcasts and hoping and wishing that something would just come by, but we didn't take any action. So I sat down with my mentor and he's like, listen, you doing all this, you reading a lot, you listen to all these podcasts, I didn't told you what to do, but you're not doing anything. You're not gonna make any money if you don't do anything. So you need to go out. Everybody that you see, you need to tell them, hey, I'm Sean with Melanated Investments. We work with pre-foreclosure properties, people that are in distress, people that are in a bind. If they need to get rid of their house or they don't want their house anymore, whatever that looks like, we can help them out the situation. So literally, I went around and I repeated that to everybody I knew, family, friends, networking events. I mean, I was going to every network event I could possibly go to throughout the week. And then, so finally, a buddy of mine gave me a call. He said his aunt was behind on her mortgage, about $5,000. And she was getting ready to foreclose. So I went over there, and this process probably took about a week of me kind of going back and forth with her, kind of explaining the process, which was, hey, I can take over your mortgage for you. You won't get foreclosure. You won't have to take a hit on your credit, and you can just move on with life without taking those hits, because you don't want to get a bankruptcy or anything like go through bankruptcy, get a foreclosure. Oh, the older you get, the more difficult, the less time you really have to plan out that financial stability. So eventually she was like, okay. So she literally signed the house over to us. So when she signed the house over to us, I was like, uh-oh, I don't have $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I called my mentor. I was like, hey, what do I do? And he said, call this individual, call this certain individual. And they came over. I sat down with them. I said, this is what I have. This is what the numbers are. I don't know how specific you want me to go in details, but so pretty much she signed over this property to me, and we sold it within in 5 days, and helped somebody out of foreclosure. I still have the house today. That was literally 7 years ago. Yeah, so I make extra $600, $700 out of it a month, and I tell people all the time. I say, you might think that's small, but if you had 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 properties making you $600 a month, that might mean something to you. So, and I kind of picked up a concept of finding, and now it's not so much of real estate, but it's finding some type of income to supplement your income, or finding something for every bill. So it may be a house for every bill for me, or it may be somebody else doing some hair for every bill, a certain type of wig, whatever it may be, whatever your craft is, you need to figure out how to do whatever that is, but and that supplement whatever that income is, a phone bill, mortgage, car payment, insurance, just start this for that, this for that. And that's kind of really how you become more financial empowered.
I like that, man. So you kind of robbed me from my question. I'm like, they kind of like vividly laid out that pathway. You know what I'm saying? No, you're good, but because the viewers still got to hear from you. But I like how you laid that out. I'm like, damn, most people books and the gurus, they add all this extra jargon to it, and it's just saying like 2 months, and then you pick up a book like, I gotta read all this, and then I gotta stop dictionary. Like, it's too much. Like, just make it simple for me. You know what I'm saying? Tomatoes. Right. Give me the damn tomatoes. I don't want about tomatoes. Give me tomatoes. Right. So all right, just a little bit backtrack. Before you had that first property, you was correct me if I'm wrong. You was just working jobs and doing side hustles until you.
Right. Yeah, I was working part time. Yeah.
So while you was doing that, how was your mindset around money at that time? Because I say most of the average working citizen doesn't even have $500 in a savings account.
That's true. I didn't have, me or nobody on my team. I was working part time. They were working full time. So none of us had money. None of us had anything saved up. So that was really, that was heavy on our mind. Like, we're trying to go into a business that can create millions of dollars, one of the most lucrative businesses in across the world, but we don't have any money. But the thing that kind of held us together was my mentor, retired at 37, and he's like, you don't need money to do real estate. There's 1,000 ways to do real estate. The way that I'm explaining it, you don't need money. You need to talk, and you need to go, and you need to do that. So, I mean, of course, that's why it took us a year to take any action, because that was still in the back of our mind. We don't have any money. We're working part time. If something comes up, I'm not gonna have the money to do it. Somebody say they perfect example, $5,000 in the hole. Got to come up with $5,000, but that $5,000 didn't come out of my pocket. It came from me listening, following the plan.
Now, some people might look like 5,000. So how did they get their money back? Did you get interest? Like, how did that work out?
So I'll kind of go back and explain. So what I did was I took over the mortgage, and taking over the mortgage just means they signed the house over to me, and then I found another buyer that wanted to live in that house, and created another mortgage for that buyer. So now I got the mortgage from the actual company, and then I got a mortgage from Melanated Investment that we created. And so I'm paying this mortgage, and the buyer is paying my mortgage. But really, the buyer is paying both of our mortgages, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to come up with the 5,000. I had to find somebody who wanted to live in the house to give me. They gave me $12,500 down, so that was well enough to pay the 5,000, put some money in the bank, and profit every month.
I love it. Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing that. Had to get down.
Yeah, for sure.
Because when people get curious, it's like, you made money, you didn't have no money. Because you hear those, start now, 0 to no money down, but it's like, okay, give me the juice.
Yeah.
You just kind of gave it to them under 3 minutes. They put you through a whole hour or 45-minute video on YouTube. Right. It's like, man, come on, man. It kind of scares people away.
Don't get me wrong. It takes work. It takes you talking. It takes you kind of studying and knowing what you're doing. I mean, there's a process to it, but ultimately it's action. And that's one thing that most people are afraid of.
Okay, so I get that to you. Yeah, facts. Action is just as strong as fear. I think they cousins to each other. I say sleep is a cousin of death.
Yeah.
I think action is the cousin of fear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It can paralyze you to do something, or it can motivate you to do something because of fear. That's how you look at it. Tell me about the mindset about the money, as far as your spending habits and how you just viewed it prior to even starting Melanated University and Melanated Investments.
Okay. So yeah, prior it was make money, spend money, because you only live once. It was that mentality. It was literally I mean, make money and spend money. That was it. Live to have a good time.
No savings.
No savings.
Savings. What's that?
Right.
Gotcha.
Bank account. But no, for real.
Cash the check.
Yeah, that's it. It was for real. I mean, I was living for like people say you living for the weekend. Yeah, that was my mindset. Live for the weekend, get money, spend money. I mean, that was all. That was it. I mean, I didn't know anything about credit. I didn't know anything about credit cards. I mean, obviously, when in college they send you all this crap, but never looked at it. I had a bank account in college, but there was never anything in it. So, I mean, when I came home, closed down my bank account because there was no point in having it because I didn't have any money anyway. So, I mean, that was it. It was just working part-time. When I came back, get a check. It's the weekend, living for the weekend. Hopefully I got some gas to get back to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that was it. Yeah. Living on hope and a prayer.
Hope and a prayer. I heard that a lot. Old folks do that a lot. Hope and a prayer. So, okay, so what was the, I know you mentioned back when you went to the conventions and stayed hotel, like, I'll never go through this again. But was that was that in the midst of that type of mindset, or was that that day was the last moment of that mindset?
No, that was in the midst. You know, we have these moments where, and these moments kind of build. I think it takes moments building up to actually make decisions. So that was one instance. I was like, I can't be going through that again. So that kind of paralyzed me in a fearful manner of really wanting to travel because I never had money to travel.
Yeah.
So I can say, all right, so I was like, I'm not gonna go through that again because I ain't going. And that was kind of, and I'm not going because I don't have money. So that's a hindrance. I'm just putting myself farther in the hole.
Yeah.
So now I can't even move. I can't make money. I can't do this because I'm scared to go back in this environment because I'm in my head and I'm just living for the weekend. So it was that one of those instances. So I think takes a lot of different things sometimes to pile up, and then you just get to the point where like, all right, this is ridiculous. So after all that, like I said, I just started diving into money. So got a checking account, got a savings account. And I just started off with that. I really just started actually writing out my budget. So that's how it all started on literally a budget sheet that I found, writing it out and I did like every other week checking instead of monthly deal. Yeah.
We do better. Now I work on creating a day,
Yeah.
a day checklist because they help me stay more present and productive, and they lets off the endorphins when you can check off something. Like, yeah, that's off the list. But I like how you said that. I'm big on acronyms, synonyms, and just formatting things, the frameworks. And the framework, what I pretty much heard you say was, when it comes to moving different with your money, it started off with financial fun, just living for the day, living for the weekend.
Right.
Then you have financial fear when you start getting scared of spending it, don't want to spend it, stopping something from making money because of your fun, traumatic situations. And then you eventually woke up from that stage and jumped into financial foundation. It became the planning and the budgeting and writing everything down.
Yeah.
So you got financial fun, financial fear, and financial foundation. And so next up, the fourth pillar had to be financial freedom.
Exactly. I love it. And that's what we're aiming for. That's what I'm aiming for. So, even through financial freedom, I'm still doing the exact same thing, the exact same game plan within real estate. Obviously, I've added some more with Melanated University. We're teaching life skills and financial empowerment. I'm doing credit repair. But all of these are things. So with all these things are things I learned and then things that I decided to share. So real estate is what we learned initially. So I was like, okay, well, anybody asks me about real estate, I'm going to be a glass house. Because what I found is I sit down with people, I tell them exactly what I do and how I do it, show them the paperwork, I don't care. But I tell them the only difference is tomorrow I'm going to go out and do what I just showed you I'm going to do. I don't know if you will. Because it's enough to go around.
That's a little small flex right there, right? that's a slightly small flex.
I
Only
don't know.
difference between me and you is I'm gonna do it.
I don't know if you will or not.
No, it's a real thing. It's a true first, but honestly, don't like it. That's being blunt. I like it.
So real estate, and then we started learning about financial empowerment and about credit. So I got my first credit card in my 20s, which is kind of wild. A lot of people just don't know about credit cards, how to get it. It's a simple process. Sometimes you got to put money down to get one to build your credit. Sometimes you don't. At that stage, my mid-20s, my bank just offered me one. And they asked me how much money I wanted, and I was still kind of in that stage where I was like, I don't want to get too much because I don't know what a credit card really do like that. Give me like $500. So they gave me a $500 credit card. And then what I have to realize is this is other people's money. This is how the rich get richer. But you gotta be responsible with it.
That part, yeah. See, I ain't get my first credit card until I was about 26, 27. So I'm looking like, cause everybody stay away from him. I see my dad always, I got to pay his credit card bill. I got to pay his credit card. It's like I'm just robbing P to pay Paul. Yeah. I'm looking like, I don't like that. I'm gonna go out and just go get my own money. Work a job, get in the streets, try to make some music, make some merchandise. I was just at it all type of ways. Which brings to the next topic. You mentioned team a lot and relationships. So did you grow up in a community where everyone was always business minded, like minded individuals, or how were they back then when you was coming up?
So ironically enough, the two guys that I'm in business with, we all went to middle school and high school together. So that's, I mean, we all kind of grew up together, but I mean, we were never on anything that had to do with business necessarily. I mean, they played sports. I was in band and drumline, so kind of two opposites. We just hung out. So not really on any business tips or anything like that. So not, I mean, I can't really pinpoint anything that had to do with business. Kind of growing up, I mean, my dad did do some lawn care on the side, but nothing that really sticks out that was like, oh, I'm gonna be a business owner.
Okay, so when it comes to celebrities and influencers on social media, everybody influencing people to take some action or become something. At that time, what were your influences up? Like, who did you look up to, not necessarily as a role model, but an inspiration?
Really, I mean, I kind of honed in onto one person, Eric Thomas, and his podcast, Secret to Success podcast. So it comes out every Wednesday, and I still listen to it every week without fail. But I mean, other than that, I just kind of kept my head down. There was a point where I just kept my head down, and it was literally just my team, my mentor, and whatever literature that we all decided that we were listening to and studying. So.
Okay, cool. All right, so when it comes to the people you with now and the people that you meet, have you expanded your network or you kept that same group of friends since you was in high school?
So I've definitely expanded my network. I think there's power in numbers. I mean, obviously Melanated as a company, we're still just us three along with our assistant. But I think it's important. It's always important to expand your network because different people are going to expose you to different things and help you out. So my mentor had a mentor. I met his mentor. I made deals with him through real estate. And I mean, like I said, I can still go to networking events all the time. Went to one yesterday, met a handful of people, met some judges. So it's always good to continue to network. And I mean, I'm out here to solve a problem, whether it's financial literacy, whether it's life skills, whether it's real estate. I mean, you always got to put your feelers out there.
I like that too. Which brings me to the question: when it comes to relationships, how do you view them? Because most people in relationships they think intimate. Relationships is personal, it's professional, it's family oriented. Relationship is just, to me, I'll go first. Relationship to me is like a boat. What goal do we both relate with or relate towards, and then where are we selling? So first, let me get to meet you. How my name such. What are you into? This is what I'm into. Where you come from? Just find some type of relation. How do we relate? I'll bet. Now let's figure out the goals, where we heading in life. Like a ship has to sail, someone has a course, has a navigation system. So we have something that's parallel but different, but eventually them lanes will get us to that same destination. Then I'll put you into my networking relationships. If not, we can't relate, then we can't go nowhere. If we can't go nowhere, it was just nice to meet you.
Yeah.
So how do you look at relationships?
So people tell me I am a people person. I'm always out meeting somebody. In fact, one of my friends told me yesterday, he was like, man, ain't you sick of meeting people? Don't you got enough friends? I was like, yeah, my friends. I mean, everybody's not my friend, but I think it's important to communicate with everybody because I'm the type of person, like I'm in the field where, like I said, I'm looking to help somebody. So if I can be of service to somebody or I can help them out with a small situation that they think is a big situation, I think that's important. So when it comes to friendships or networking, whatever you want to call it, I think it's important to me, no matter who it is. So, I mean, I'm going to have a conversation with you. I'm going to figure out if there's a need that I can fulfill or if there's somebody that I can connect you with to fulfill that need. But it's kind of up to you to take heed and actually want to do something with whatever I present you. But I mean, I think I'm like that with everybody. So.
All right. So is it easy to get into your network?
Oh, no, it's not me. It's easy to have a conversation with me. Right. It's easy to have a conversation with me, to maybe pick my brain about something. But things within this circle of melanated, no.
See, and that leads to my next topic, which is time. When it comes to the networking events, to come and build relationships and really getting to feel with people, that's a lot of time invested. You're melanated investments. So How did you used to go about spending your time before you start having this business and having the role that you have today?
I mean, my time was spent working part time and living for the weekend. I mean, I was looking forward to whatever was fun, whatever was next on my list of whatever fun was. So that was the time that I was spending. I wasn't really thinking about anything positive or anything like that. So I think the flip on the side now is every day I'm listening to a podcast or I'm listening to an audio book. I'm making my business to do that. I mean, I listen to more of that in the car than any type of music. I think that's important. Every day I make my business to make sure I'm doing something that has to do with one of the melanateds, even if it's something small. So, I mean, that's just the difference. Every day is geared towards growing myself and growing business. Growing myself, growing business, and meeting somebody that can possibly help us elevate or I can help them elevate. That's how I'm trying to spend now. And like I said, I got a small group of I may know a lot of people, and I tell people this all the time. Yeah, if I go out somewhere or I'm in a place, people may say, "Hey, Sean, what's going on?" Like just because 100 people say hello does not mean I'm friends with 100 people. I may be acquaintance, I may know them, but you'll see me with the same kind of group of people. Because those are the people that I know got my back. Those are the people I know that's in the trenches with me. I know we're growing towards something.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Okay. Now, that's beautiful too, because like I said, you know your surroundings, you know where we're going, which goes to goals. Speaking of goals, did you ever have any goal? You say you was in a band. Did you have any goal to ever go to college to get in a band or start your own music group? Like, what was the biggest goal you had during the time before you graduated high school?
Before I graduated high school, my biggest goal was probably graduating college. That probably was my biggest goal. I mean, I wasn't really too focused on. I went to college and was playing music and everything like that, but that was never a goal of mine because I had a band in high school and I wasn't really sold on the aspect of managing because it was just a lot of work for a little of nothing to me. So I mean, my goal was let's say focus on what my parents wanted more so than what I wanted. So they didn't go to college, so I was like, I'm gonna go to college because they didn't go to college, and they don't have a college degree. I'm gonna try to get a college degree, but then once I got to college, I was like, this don't make sense. It don't make sense to get a 9 to 5 for me. So, I mean, when I got out of college and I started doing real estate, my parents, they were pissed. And I said, well, it's kind of my life, not y'all's. And I give that advice. I say that a lot to people, especially younger people, because they, sometimes they have dreams and goals and they really let their family talk them out of it. Because, I mean, like I said, my parents were pissed. They wanted me to go back to college. Or find a job, a big boy job, instead of doing real estate. And I went a year with them, kind of going back and forth with me about it because I wasn't making money. But when I made that first check, I was sure to make a copy and go put it on their kitchen table.
That part, that reminded me of what's his name story in Amway. What was his name? Paul Kopech. So that was an inspirational story right there.
Yeah.
Okay. And so is it safe to say your goals was whatever your parents' goals had for you at that time?
Yeah, at the time.
And currently today, what are the goals you for yourself is heading in life towards? And then what is the goals of Melanated University and Melanated Investments?
Okay, so yeah, me personally, my goal is to be financially stable and decide kind of what field I actually want to work in by the age of 35. Yes, I'm a young man, 30 years old. By the age of 35, to have everything lined up to decide, all right, do you actually want to work the job? Do you want to do whatever it may be? So that's always been the goal for made that goal when I was about 20. So that's always been a goal for me personally. And just been financially empowered, steady, and then be able to transfer those skills to other people. As far as the melanated university and melanated investment, we got the same goal for this sister company. It's literally to uplift the community, help our people any way we can. I always say that people like melanated university, what's that? I say, well, somebody got to help us or be for us. So we're here to help us, but we'll help anybody. But somebody has to focus on the melanated community.
Right.
So I mean that's what we're here to do. So that's why I don't turn anything down usually. I'm talking to whoever about whatever because I want it to be an open book. I want people to know that, I mean, there's a lot of things in life that's easier than you think. The credit thing is easier than you think. The real estate thing is easier than you think. Finding money is easier than you think. Making money is easier than you think once you get out of a certain mindset.
Thanks. I love it. Well, speaking of those mindsets, before we wrap up, I usually wrap up with some rapid questions.
Gotcha.
And I'll let the viewers know how they can follow you, how can they stay in touch, and if any new product or service that you release or are released, how they can get in tune with you. Give me the mindset around how to view money as getting it easy, handling it easy. Like, where did you get that mindset from? It's easy.
So got it from one of my mentors. First of all, studying books, audios, but really outside of that, when you start taking action within the field. So, like I said, when I got the first property and they gave me $12,500 down, and I took that $5,000, paid the mortgage company, and I seen how easy of a transaction that was. I'm like, okay. So then moving on and did the exact same thing with another property, except I got a bigger, down payment. So that's when I say things get easier as it flows. And then when you stop looking at money like, oh, I gotta make this, or I gotta make every deal work, or I gotta get every nickel and dime I can, and start thinking about, okay, so what's a smarter way that I can get this done? So, I mean, that's kind of my mindset. I mean, and then it's about your network. So that's why I said it's important to have a network, a support system where you can really find whatever resource you need. I tell people all the time, if you had not even a week, if you had 3 days to find $5,000, could you do it? And $5,000 is not even a huge amount of money. But if you don't have a network or a system or something working for you, where you can figure out $5,000 in 3 days, you probably need to start doing something different.
Now, what's something I was gonna wrap up right there, but I like how you worded that. What advice around that 3-day, $5,000 can you give to somebody that has a little to no network and only makes roughly between $2,200 to $3,000 a month? They say I make that a month. You saying go find $5,000 within my network in 3 days. What advice you have for that person?
Well, it depends. Are you a business owner? Are you just working? If you're just working,
Let's talk about the worker that work at a Walmart or Amazon.
okay, Walmart, Amazon. I mean, it's not gonna happen overnight because that didn't happen overnight for me. But a Walmart, Amazon, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. What does your credit look like? Do you have a budget? Are you living below or above your means? What are you spending your money on? And all those things will tell me exactly what to do specifically for you. So, I mean, and then what's your mindset? Are you just paying bills? Then you probably should look for a part-time, find another job, or are you entrepreneur minded? So all those things are gonna play a factor. But I mean, at the end of the day, credit and money is what I'll be talking about. Like, what's your credit look like? How much money you make? How can you leverage your money, leverage your credit and your credit score? At the end of the day, The name of the game is other people's money. That's how you get rich. That's how the rich stay rich. They don't take the money out their bank account and spend all of it. Other people's money. Credit.
I love it. I love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have Sean Crawford. Now, before we get up out of here, rapid question. Well, before the rapid question, is there anything you currently working on or enrolling people into that's or something that's coming up next year with the holidays you'd like to let them know about? Stay in tune for.
I mean, if you're looking for a house, if you're in a desperate situation, need to get out of the house, definitely hit my line, and I'll help you out if you need some credit advice or credit restoration. I do that as well. Marketing for small businesses, any flyers, any business cards, any pop-up websites. I got a guy that does that. Just kind of, I'm looking to be a fence. So whatever your need is, express that, and I'll make sure you get to somebody who can fulfill that need.
Awesome. Love it. Okay, so rapid question time. Time or money?
I would say time.
Goals or relationships?
Relationship.
And when you think about money and you look at the people that you may watch as far as athletes, actors, artists, business moguls, when you think about investments, who's the first person to come to mind?
Well, you said actors, but I don't really think of any of them.
When you think business endeavor, who's the first person, face, or name come in mind when you think great business actor? That's a celebrity.
It would be Eric Thomas or Jamal King.
Okay. And if you had to start all over right now, would you start with building your credit or would you start with learning the skill?
I would say building credit.
Why?
I say building credit because if you learn to build credit early, I mean, you can grow into a skill once you have your credit, then you can be like, okay, so now let me go figure out what to do with the credit after.
True that. It's already built now, so now you're going to learn something, and they have that financial backing.
Yeah. And I mean, that's how a lot of people are. I mean, a lot of people already have the finances. Some people already have the credit. I mean, but they have no idea what to do with it.
Mm-hmm. That's fact.
And that's investments. And
I love it. I'm one of them. And then one word that you would say that describes you.
outgoing.
Outgoing. And we all have a due date, a day that we're born and a day we leave here. When it's all said and done, in short words, what would you want to say in tombstone?
He was a good guy.
I love it. I love it. Okay, then for the viewers out there, 2 minutes. You had 2 minutes to be on a platform in front of millions of people, and they all are in financial poverty. What advice would you have for them?
2 minutes. Okay. My advice to them would be, don't be afraid to do whatever idea you think can make money. Don't be afraid of that idea. Go out and do it. Like I said, you only live once, so you need to write it down, whatever goal it is, put a date on it. You need to figure out people and organizations that's going to help you in the process. And you need to figure out if there's a benefit to you within that goal, and then you need to play it out. So I'll say it again, write down your goal, put a date on it. A lot of people say goals, I want to do this, I want to do that, but you don't hold yourself accountable. So hold yourself accountable by putting a date on it. Identify people and organizations that help you within that process. And it doesn't have to be a huge thing. If you need help with, I want to go to school, but I don't have somebody to watch my kids. I'm sure there's something in your network or people, organizations. It could be a daycare. Identify the benefits to you, the benefit of you going to school, or the benefit of you starting this business is to make money or move up in position, and then play it out.
I love it. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Sean Crawford. Today, when we talk about money, mindset, movement, and meaning, the three things you need to understand that you will go through a roller coaster in life, your ups and your downs. And if you weren't paying attention, I'll wrap up the podcast by saying it again. You will have your days or your seasons called your financial fun. But that financial fun can instantly and immediately turn into financial disaster. And once you start to work your way back up out of that hole to get back on that fun ride, you're going to realize it wasn't so fun on that way down. So now you start to build some financial fear. You start to become a little paralyzed with your mindset and with your money. So now you got to find new meaning. You got to find new movement. And once you do that, you start with a financial foundation. So them are the three F's I want you to focus on today when it comes to financial principles. Financial fun, what does that look like currently in your life or used to? Financial fear, what ways are you holding back from saving your money, investing your money more important than saving? And what are you learning about money on how the economy works and OPM, as you say, how can I leverage and use other people's money? Then I want you to look at financial foundation. What does that really look like to you? You shared on the podcast that you can have an income stream for each bill that you possibly have. You might have children. You can have a business or a service set up where the income comes in and you separate that account for your specific kids and bills. Then you have the fourth pillar that we all should want to aim for, which is financial freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 5 with Sean Crawford, Chief Financial Officer of Melanated University and Melanated Investments. And where can the people find you to stay in contact?
On all social media, mainly Facebook, Instagram, at Melanated Investments, or at Road Less Travel is my personal page.
Awesome. And always remember, ladies and gentlemen, sharpen your awareness, KD Intelligence. Sean, thank you for joining the podcast.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Like a Zam. I ain't acting, I'm just speaking what I see behind the lens. Even though I'm speaking roles, the creator I am.
Manifest, elevate. You won't be okay. I'ma focus on myself in the way. Give you love, give you eyes, show you the way. I put the seeds in, watch them blossom. Our soul is power, solar power. We don't fold, we don't know no cowards. We expose those who hide our power. Self-conquer, watch the rest devour.